Yo, what is popping, guys? We are finally here with the PMC Orange League, um, and we have an instant classic in week one versus Trev the King and his Atlanta Braviaries. Um, we have a little bit of history, Trev and I. We had this nice NPL League war, one of the greatest moments of Orange League format play, in my opinion. But the comments and the relationship between both NPLs got a little bit out of hand after this, so we decided, yeah, let's both head into the PMC again and battle it out there. And yeah, we are here for a very, very good game. Actually, it was super fun. Trev is a chill guy. I didn't mean to offend him back in the day, obviously, but I'm obviously here to beat him and potentially retire him as I want to do with anybody that I play. So before we head into the match, he brings a very scary team with Rain and Lando T, which is kind of broken. Lando T, Tapu Koko, Volta, pretty annoying. Like he has a bunch of threats on his squad, but let's hop into my team builder first. So versus team, he has some stupid rain, which is super annoying to deal with. I decided to bring obviously AV Tangrowth. It definitely will be a staple on my teams this season because I don't have as much bulk as I like to have. But yeah, Tangrowth actually will put in quite some work with this Trevi here. I hope actually deals with the Kingdra very well and also with the defensive Pelipper. Hurricane doesn't 2 KO if he's uninvested, and it also helps me check especially offensive Lucario, which can never 2-hit KO me or 3-hit KO me unless it's like a +2. So yeah, Leaf Storm, Earthquake, Knock off Rock Slide also checks Landorus unless he's Z Fly, which I really expect him to be. This is a Z move mon, and it's the only way to basically break through my Tangrowth with the Z Fly. But I definitely am gonna scout for that if possible. So not too worried about this. Earthquake, Knock off Rock Slide, pretty self-explanatory. Hit everything. Like Rock Slide hits the Sculpin in Pelipper, knockoff, just gives me um, some nice utility, like knocking off Kingra's choice specs, for example, would be kind of nice, or his life up, whatever he wants to go for. Earthquake hits the Tapu Koko for quite some damage, and Leaf Storm basically fucks up everything else, does like over 70% to the Lando, so that can't really set up on me, and I can take any one hit before it gets to +2. I really expect to bring dual dance Lando. I also predict him to bring the rain because it's very very threatening. He didn't bring, which is kind of unfortunate. He didn't bring the Talonflame because me first Talonflame, you should know that this is the go-to set that can hit a field in the Pokemon League format. But yeah, it's fine. Roxas would have hit the Talonflame should it should he decided to bring it. But yeah, pretty self-explanatory set. Next I have my boy Matty Brolick here with the nice GG at the end. Um, Sylvanny Ghost, Shadow Ball, Parting Shot, Ice Beam, Thunder Wave. It's here to basically check an offensive Scolipede, which can never 2-hit KO me with its dual steps. Shadow Ball, Parting Shot are pretty self-explanatory. Shadow Ball actually does quite a fuck ton to his entire team because he doesn't have a ghost resist, and I will try to capitalize on this with my Sylvally as well as my Mimikyu here. Parting Shot is pretty standard on Sylvally, it just helps me get free switches to some stuff. Ice Beam's here for the land because I don't want it to set up I don't want to set up on it, and I outspeed an adamant I outspeed any variant of Lando with the Ice Beam and just Oko it after rocks, which is kinda cool. I really wanted to bring a more offensive build with a little bit of less speed, but because I expect him to bring Adamant Lando, Jolly Lando just doesn't make any sense for me, but I just have to make sure with this one. Thunder Wave is always nice to slow down his King on a potential switch and for me to just Shadow Ball or something. And Thunder Wave is always nice to have. It's another also another check to the Lucario unless it's a special variant with the Dark Pulse, but we'll see about that. Next up I have GG, it's Aki, my low punny. 4 attacks, a jump kick, return, Ice Punch, and Thunder Punch. Flawless coverage for his entire team. Thunder Punch just Okos Pelipper, even if it's max defensive, after rocks and Thunder Punch kills. Ice Punch hits the Lando super hard, prevents it from setting up potentially, and like return Hydro Attack are like just staples on Lopunny that you have to run. Next up I have my Mew. I really want to bring a Heat Mew set, like maybe skill swap Mew again versus Rain, but I felt like this bulkier Mew can do quite some work with the Taunt and Will-O-Wisp, preventing stuff like Lando from setting up because I have enough speed to excuse me, to outrun Adam and Lando. I can potentially just taunt it. I can Will-O-Wisp it if it like gets out of hand. I can Psychic everything on his team. He doesn't have like a Psychic immunity, which is nice. He has a Bronzong, but Bronzong is worn down by Will-O-Wisp. I can softball up, taunt it, and like it can't really do anything versus Mew, so that's kind of lit. Mew is here to like just take as many special hits as possible. It can take any one-hit Kingdra wants to throw at me. Maybe like help me pivot around it with my Tangrowth. But yeah, Kingdra is a threat. I don't like have any switch into Kingdra at all, which is kind of annoying. Like obviously, Tangrowth is a decent switch in, but if it specs Ice Beam, I just get 2 KO. So what can you do? Next up, I have my Rocky Helmet Donphan here. Rocky Helmet is basically only there to get some chip on U-turn Coco or like any variant of Lando, like some nice chip on it could come in handy. Earthquake knockoff several rapid spin, nothing fancy here, but a lot of speed death as you can see, just like take a Specs Grass Knot from Tapu Koko if need be and kill it with the Earthquake or like get enough damage off on it. Nothing fancy, I don't really see Donphan doing much. I actually dropped it after this week for Gligar, which gives me like a more versatile, dedicated rocker and defogger and shit like that, so yeah. Donphan hopefully here to set up rocks or like just spin hazards away, and I needed to bring hazard control when my opponent has a Scolipede and a bunch of reliable rockers. And last but not least, I have my nice Mimikyu here with the Spooky Plate, Shadow Claw, Will-O-Wisp, Shadow Sneak, and Sword Stance, Adamant, enough speed for Adamant, Lando again. Probably should have made my Silvally like a little slower as well, but yeah, what can you do? I don't really need to play rough, even though like it guarantees me Okos on some stuff, but Shadow Claw like just does so much damage with the Spooky Plate, and Will-O-Wisp gives me like another solid attack to make Lando kinda useless or like contain Lando if possible. So if he wants to set up on my Mimikyu, I can just Will-O-Wisp it, and Mimikyu is basically the go-to mon he can't set up on. So I decided, yeah, I have to bring Will-O-Wisp on this thing, and then like maybe SDR pit with the Lando with the Sneak or Shadow Claw, depending on if he wants to go for an attack to break my disguise or anything, and go from there. So yeah, that's the squad. I don't really want to upload an entire team, but I just like go over it pretty quickly. As you see, Trev brings like a bunch of high power offense, probably Hazard lead, Scolipede, Life Orb or Specs Kingdra, maybe offensive Pelipper. I didn't really expect offensive Pelipper to come, but who knows. Nasty Plot or SD, Lucario 100%. Nice, like I was 99% sure it was dual dance, Z Fly Lando, and it turned out to be. And Coco, I wasn't sure what kind of set it was. Brought a pretty heat set, so shoutouts to him for that. But yeah, let's hop right into it. I decided to lead with my Silvally, seeing like what he wants to lead with, and like just beating a Scolipede lead 1v1. On this turn, I wanted to click Thunder Wave, but I decided to play it safe and go for the Shadow Ball, preventing him from setting up a substitute, and I can like spin hazards away anyway. On the next turn, I will go for the Thunder Wave as he gets up T-Spikes and a Spike, which is annoying, but my Donphan can still like spin them away, and I think I parting shot out into my Donphan here on the next turn, just to like make sure I get rid of these hazards. Like I don't want to have any of those here. I can like freely spin here, so he probably will go out into his Pelipper, which is a pretty decent switch, and as he does, I contemplate knocking here, but like T-Spikes and Spikes hurt my team a lot, so I decided, nah, fuck it, I will just go for the Rapid Spin. Here on the next turn goes for the Hurricane, and I was fairly certain he wouldn't go for Scald because I have the Tangrowth in the back and he wants to probably hit that, expecting me to expecting me to switch out into that. So I decided to stay in because I can live a Hurricane and knock off whatever item he wants to, he has, or like just get at my Stealth Rock. But he reveals to be Specs, not his Pelipper, and that thing is a threat. I don't like have any solid switching for that. I go out into my Lopunny here, kind of bluffing that I have Thunder Punch. I actually do have the Thunder Punch, but he doesn't know that. I kind of like bait him to go for another attack here, or like switch out, bluffing the T-Punch, and I double out into Mew because Mew actually can take a hit. And on this turn here, I just fire for Cyclist. He doubles out, he switches out into Scolipede, thinking I might have the Thunder Punch, and I can potentially Thunder Punch kill the Pelipper later, which is kind of nice because now he probably thinks I don't have the Thunder Punch. So nice double on my part, possibly if I get a chance to hit the Pelipper with it. He goes for the Hydro Pump here after I hit it with the Psychic. That's quite a fuck ton. Hydro Pump actually does 75%, which is annoying because he is Life Up and not Specs. I could have lived the Specs hit as well, but yeah, I wanted like to see if he Specs and what move he wants to lock himself into, and like just softball up because I can even take like a Draco Meteor and like just like go from there. But he goes for the Hydro and his Life Up, which makes it really hard to switch into. I could potentially like just go for another Psychic here, which I think I will do on the next turn. No, I go for the Will-O-Wisp, predicting him to switch off because the rain ended. So yeah, like we played a week ago or something, so I don't remember any exact scenario, but yeah, it goes into his Lucario. Had I gone for the Psychic here, it would have been like a very fine play, but couldn't pull it off. Like just made the safe play and go for the Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, could have gone for the Psychic, but I have a very smart, very safe switch in form of my Tangrowth here. I can just fire off an Earthquake, as he reveals to be a Nasty Claw variant, which I really expected him to be. Dark Pulse is not a 2 KO. He tries to go for the flinch here probably, or catch my Silvally or my Mew in the switch in. I get off the Earthquake damage, which like does quite a bunch. He has Life Up, so he will die on the next turn, on the next hit. And I'm like contemplating what I want to do. I want my Tangrowth healthy because I think it still beats the Coco, it still beats the Kingdra. It helps me like beating Lando because Lando can't set up on an incoming Leaf Storm, which does like 70 to 80%. So I want to keep my Tangrowth healthy, and I decide to maybe like to predict his Flash Cannon or his Focus Blast or anything, and I decide to go into my Silvally. If he predicts that, it's fine. I don't need my Silvally that much because Scolipede is already Thunder Wave, and he just goes for another Dark Pulse, so that's fine, I guess. Lucario goes down. I expect him to go into Pelipper here, or to like get up the range. So I don't go into my Coco, but not into my Coco, in my Lopunny, but he goes into his Coco. That's kind of annoying. He probably doesn't want to take a Fake Out. He doesn't know if I have it, so I just decide to go for the return here. Dazzling Gleam, unless it's Specs or Life Up, can't knock me out, so I have a very free return, which is nice. Scolipede comes in, takes one, he gets some chip with the Rocky Helmet, which is unfortunate, but what can you do? And yeah, Lopunny gets the kill on the Scolipede. Pelipper now comes in, and because I doubled out early in the game, he probably thinks that I don't have the Thunder Punch, which basically allows me to kill off the Pelipper. I know it's offensive, like I know it probably has a bunch of HP investment, but max HP, no defense, Pelipper cannot live a Thunder Punch from the range it's at. I can just fire off the T-Punch and kill it. But yeah, that like is good because Pelipper was a threat, but now I can bring Kingdra again, which is pretty annoying. But I think I can pivot around on that. I go into my new SC fires of Skull, that's 62%. I will go into my Tangrowth on the next turn for taking another Scald or Hydro Pump or Dragon Pulse, whatever he wants to go for. Doesn't get to burn, fortunately, as like Rain is only up 2 more turns. I will sack my Mew on this next turn and sack it to the Ice Beam, which is fine. I don't need Mew anymore, and now I can like just go into my Mimikyu and kill his Kingdom with the Shadow Sneak and keeping my disguise up, which is pretty nice. So I get the kill with the Shadow Sneak. As you see, it's a pretty offensive game. 9 turns in, and it's 3-2 for me already. On next turn, like his only play is to go into Lando and try to set up. Like Mimikyu though has the Will-O-Wisp, which pretty much helps him gets the Intimidate off, which is nice for him because Mimikyu actually can't touch a Lando at -1, but I get to burn him. I outspeed him, which shows me that he's adamant as he rock polishes up. On next turn, I make a pretty stupid play in my opinion because I should have sword stanced up here because he needs to SD as well in order to like in order to sweep me with this Lando. But yeah, I make a dumb play. I go for the Shadow Claw here to like get some damage off. This Lando is like such a threat. I'm not sure what I want to do. I go for the SD on this next turn, like just to um yeah, like just to like make sure I get enough chip damage off with a Shadow Sneak or like with the Shadow Claw in case he wants to SD up again, which would have been a bad play in my opinion. And on next turn I can just like fire off the Shadow Sneak, which hopefully will put in range of the burn, but it doesn't. But he makes a very interesting play and goes for the Supersonic Skystrike on this turn, maybe expecting me to go into my Tangrowth, pivot around on this thread as I did earlier with the Kingdra. In my opinion, an over prediction on his part. Had he gone for the Earthquake again, he would have won basically with his Lando, unless I'm like fake out or quick attack Lopunny, which I sadly am not. I go into Lopunny here, trying to bait him to go for the Earthquake, but yeah, that's none of his business. He goes for the fly, and I decide to sack my Lopunny here because I think like Tangrowth is my win condition here, basically because it beats most forms of Coco 1 vs 1. So it comes down to Tangrowth at full versus Coco at full, and they didn't reveal a set earlier, and now I'm like in a pretty interesting spot. If he's Brave Bird Life Orb, I win. I don't think he can 2 KO me, or like if he's Brave Bird Life Orb, he will like kill himself with the recoil plus my Earthquake damage. So that's kind of cool, but I really expected him to be like a special variant, and I can just like go on for an Earthquake here, gauge the damage. Like what does he do? He goes for a Calm Mind actually, which is a pretty cool set on his part because Calm Mind Coco, as you see, I do 47% with the Earthquake is like able to 1 vs 1 my Tangrowth potentially, which is kind of bad. He goes for a Rooster. I think I go for another Earthquake. I get 47% on the first roll and 50% on the second roll. He told me a set afterwards that he got 2 pretty much low rolls on this Earthquake. On these Earthquakes, it does up to 57%, I think. Had I gotten like higher rolls, had I seen like that I could do up to 57%, I would have gone for knockoff and then spammed the Q because without leftovers, you can't take 2 like it's in my favor without leftovers to 2 KO with the Earthquake. I couldn't know that because I got 2 low rolls, so yeah, I decided to either like to just go for the crit with the Leaf Storm because he can potentially Roost Storm me, Calm Mind up to like hit me again. I decide to like say fuck it and go for the Leaf Storm, trying to crit him. Don't get the crit on the first turn. I could have like gone for knockoff into Earthquake and shit, like nice and spamming bullshit until like I potentially win, but I decided it's a very cool set. Like he brought a fat Coco that actually can beat the so-called counter 1 vs 1. I decided to like either let him have the win and show off his cool set here, or like just hex him and kill him with these crit Leaf Storm. I don't get a crit again. Let's see, fires off. We'll fire off an HP Ice on the next turn. I think it's HP Ice. I don't think HP Fire makes sense. Go for another Leaf Storm. Don't get crit. A crit will always knock him out at this point. But yeah, Hidden Power is actually a 3 KO from this range, which is kind of unfortunate. But I don't get a crit, and I will lose 1-0 to Trev the King and his Atlanta Braviaries in week 1 of the PMC. That was a very, very fun game. I actually applauded him for the Coco set, which it was pretty cool. Had I known it wasn't as bulky as I thought, I probably would have gone like for knock into Earthquake spam and potentially have a shot at winning because it prevents him from like setting up to +2 ever, and then I like could have beaten him with the combination of like Earthquake, stalling out his roost, Rock Slide, Leaf storming him, and then like probably killing him eventually. But I didn't want to do that. I don't want to play like didn't want to play for like 50 or 60 turns if it's like if I can like just say yeah fuck it, it comes down to Hex or not, and I let him have to win. It's like week 1 of the week of the league. I'm like not too much concerned about like one loss in the win loss column, so I let him have to win or like let me crit him here basically. So that's fine with me. Good game to my opponent. Was a very fun one. He brought a pretty cool team, some nice hyper offense, which I always like to see. That's the way you should play the game most of the time. Even though I like to bring my fat stuff obviously, but yeah, brought a very cool squad and got the win here. So we start off with a loss in the PMC Orange League, but that doesn't really matter too much because I will definitely get a nice amount of wins throughout the season, and I had a lot of fun in this battle because I could show off some like cool sets, I guess, with the Mimikyu and the Valley Ghost and shit like that. So definitely was a fun game, and that's what it should be about. So I hope I get some nice comments from some NPL people. Hopefully, like Rizzy Powell checks in on my channel, like leaves like some nice comment or anything. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. GG to Trevi, and leave a like and a comment if you did enjoy the battle, and catch you next week. Thank you.